Welcome back. I'm Larry. So tonight we're working on my 351 Cleveland again, so let's go and jump into it and get started. Okay, so tonight we're going to be installing the intake finally. So I have these gaskets. This time around I'm going with these fiber gaskets instead of a metal gasket, and the reason being is I'm running aluminum heads. So with aluminum heads, as you can see, there are no exhaust crossovers built into the head like the cast iron ones or like what's in this aluminum intake. So there will be no more exhaust crossover, which is, it really doesn't matter if it's got it or not. But the metal pan, it kind of helps. It'll take longer. The exhaust crossover kind of helps warm the engine up easier in the winter to make it run better. With the metal pan gasket on these heads, it'll take longer to warm up and it won't run very well at first until it finally gets up to running temperature. With these, with the hot oil and all that, it'll kind of help it. And to be honest, I think these gaskets will probably seal better than a metal gasket. Now, if you notice, they don't like to just sit there like a metal gasket does because you don't have no pins in the heads like you do on a cast iron head. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to end up having to run a small bead of silicone around each port and along the bottom, and then stick these up there so it'll hold them in place so we can get the intake lined up and put it in there. We're also not going to use any gaskets on the front or back walls, just a bead of silicone, because if you use the gasket, it will leak. They always do. So we're going to do that. You got to make sure that your mating surfaces are good and clean. And then we can get ready to install this right here and get it put on there. So these are a Felpro gasket here. And if you notice, it has these open ports, and the reason for that is if you run these Cleveland heads on like a Boss 302 or 351 Windsor to build a cleaver, you're going to need water flows through here, and you're going to need those ports. On a Cleveland, they're not necessary, so you don't have to worry about it. These are the gaskets that I'm running. Like I said, they're Felpro Performance. There's the part number for it, 1240. It does come with these gaskets as well. Like I said, we're not going to use them, as well as a new distributor gasket O-ring. And also for this install, I'm going to be using ARP intake bolt kit, just because, there really ain't no reason other than I just wanted to. So there's the part number for that, if interested. Very nice looking kit. So now we're going to get ready to install the gaskets. Like I said, I'm using these gaskets, and these do go only one way. The blue side faces out toward the intake, and the blank side faces the head, just like that. Now the way I'm doing this, because this is the first time I've ever used a fiber gasket on a Cleveland, I'm kind of taking info from the Clevo King on YouTube. He's great with Clevelands. He's in Australia. Very knowledgeable, very smart guy, especially when it comes to these Clevelands. And so this is the same gasket set he used, and I'm gonna be doing it pretty much the same way that he did. So I'm using the Ultra Black RTV from Permatex because I like it better. He used the orange stuff, which doesn't matter what color you use. You can use blue, black, orange, whatever. I just always like the black stuff better. Probably should have got blue for this because of this front and back rail, but it's not a big deal, whatever. So, like I said, we're going to put a small bead. You don't want to go crazy with this around here because you don't want it oozing out inside there. We want a very small bead going around these ports. It's not very pretty, but like I say, you don't need much around here, very little, because once we torque this gasket down, it's going to ooze out anyway a little bit, and that's really all you want. Try to connect the dots a little bit, make it look a little bit better. Another thing that we want to do is Cleveland's can leak a little bit of oil. As a matter of fact, when I put that steel pan on them, my first engine, I didn't put nothing up here. And truthfully, I probably should have done this to the steel pan, honestly. Because when I pulled it off, I noticed there was a little bit of oil residue up here and even inside the pan underneath the intake where it kind of like leaked up and then it kind of spilled into the pan a little bit. As I ran, obviously the engine never smoked, so you couldn't tell, but just something that I noticed when I pulled it apart. So I probably should have done this on the steel pan as well, but whatever. So what we're going to do now is we're going to run a bead from this corner up to this bead, and then run a bead down here and across here and across here and the same back here, and that's just to help seal this whole bottom end out from oil coming up. So we're gonna just run a bead down here like this. And this is the way the Clevo King did it. He's the one I got these tips from for doing this. So you just want a very thin bead like that, nothing crazy. All right, so just give you a close-up of it. You can see how we did that. I guess not the prettiest, but as long as it seals, that's all that really matters. You can see we did the same thing on this side here. Okay, so when it comes to doing this front and back wall, I take that tube completely off, that little that extension piece, take it off completely, because we need to run a nice big fat bead from this corner all the way across. And go in this corner, just run a nice big fat bead. And you want to make sure that you have a nice new full container of RTV for this, because it's going to take a lot. Make sure you get in that corner really good too, where the head meets the block. And that's what I'm talking about. Make sure you got a full tube. This was a brand new tube, and look what we got left already, and we're not even done yet. All right, so now that that's done, we can install our gasket in place. Like I said again, it goes with the blue facing out toward the intake, and your numbers will be upside down for the orientation that it has to go. So you kind of want to slide it down under this RTV at an angle, like that. And then line it up with the ports in the head. Push it down a little bit so it'll stay. And these gaskets won't go but one way, so you put them on backwards, you'll know, because your bolt holes won't line up or your ports won't line up. One or the other. And once you see that you got the ports all lined up, we're going to allow this to sit here and tack up for a minute. Now, you do not want to apply any RTV to the gasket itself. Like the way it's sitting right now is exactly how it's going to be when we put the intake on. So that's good. So I'm going to get the other side put on. We're going to give it a few minutes to kind of sit here for a minute and tack up for a minute. Clevo King, he said like 15, 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to give it a few minutes here, and then we'll come back. It's been about 10 minutes. Now, one thing that he also mentioned was kind of stitch into the bead on the back wall. I kind of did that a little bit. I don't really know if it's that important. That's just something he did. I kind of tried it a little bit, but I've done this before many times on other engines. I've never had a problem. I never stitched it in, but I'm just saying that's the way he did it. So if you want to do it that way, that's another way to do it. And go check out his video. I'd recommend it, because he can be better at explaining it than I can. So now in each corner, I just want to give a little dab on top of what we already got. Which really don't need none right here. These look pretty good. Just to help ensure that this gasket seals, because if it's going to leak, it's going to leak right here in this corner. Anytime you have a sharp corner where something meets, like the head meeting the block, it's always going to be that corner where it's going to leak at. So we're looking pretty good. It's been about 10 minutes. Seems to be tacked up pretty good. I think we can go ahead and throw the intake on and go ahead and start bolting it down. You can see, I'll show you a close-up real quick before we put the intake on. Says, is it the cleanest? No, but it'll work, and that's all that matters. So I got a little bit of a low spot right here. I might fill that in just a little bit better, but you kind of get the idea of what it's supposed to look like. And you see what I mean by kind of stitch it in, kind of like take the nozzle of that RTV and kind of like pull the bead down to the wall a little bit. So yeah, that's how that's going to be. So now we can grab the intake and put up here. So one thing I recommend is put the two, you got 4 total, but 2 on each side middle bolts in the intake, because they are the only ones that go straight up and down. The rest are at an angle. If it makes you feel better, you can get some long studs that are this thread and thread them in here. That'll stick up high, and then that'll kind of help guide you down where you need to be. So as long as you're careful, you shouldn't have a problem with it. Start your bolts as they start, and you should be good. Now, something I am doing with my bolts is I did apply a little bit of that ARP thread lubricant on here. They don't tell you to do that, but I did anyway, just as extra precaution going into aluminum. Alrighty guys, well, it's a new day. In the middle of installing my intake last night, my battery died on the camera. So therefore I had to just finish it up because I can't let this just sit too long with the RTV and all. As you can see, I kind of got other things put in place here. Did some more work, but you can see the outcome of it. We have a nice squeeze out. I'm not going to worry about trimming this time around like I did last time, just because if I trim it close, it's not that it's going to happen, but there could be a possibility where it could be more likely to slip inside and fall down inside the engine, whereas this right here kind of has that flare out on the outside, so it's going to hold it in place. So I'm not going to worry about trimming it this time. I'm going to leave it like it is. And that's the same for up here too. You can't really see it anyway. I mean, it's mostly hidden, so it don't really matter. One thing I want to note, I was gonna show this, and then like I said, the battery died. So if you notice, I have 2 different bolts here. The stock ARP bolts that come with the kit would not work on here. They're way too long. The reason is that whenever Edelbrock manufactured these heads, they're a great head, but this is one thing I think they kind of dropped the ball on a little bit. All these holes are blind holes. In other words, they have a bottom, right? Now, these were perfect. I measured them. Like I said, I was going to show it, but obviously I can't now because of what happened. But I put something in there to measure the depth of the hole, measured up against the bolt. These were perfect. They probably had maybe half an inch, maybe not quite half an inch, between 1/4 to half an inch of clearance before they bottomed out. So that's perfect. These were way too long in the ARP kit, as well as these 2 were too long, but just barely too long. On the factory head, these 2 bolt holes are all the way through the head, so there's no bottom to them, so it's not that big of a deal. Edelbrock made these a blind hole also. These are blind holes in the stock heads, and these are perfect on the Edelbrock heads, but these are open holes in the stock head, and they're blind holes in this Edelbrock head. So if you notice, I have 2 washers. I had to double up on the washers to get it to tighten down all the way because they would bottom out. So I said they were just barely too long. These were way too long, so I had to completely change the bolts altogether. These are actually the same bolts I had in the intake the last time, because a stock intake is a lot taller anyway. And maybe that's why ARP did it. ARP's thinking, I guess you're gonna put them on a stock manifold, I don't know. And so I had to use my bolts that I bought last time and put in here. And even with them, if you notice, I had to put 3 washers. I got a lock washer and then 2 regular washers just to make up the difference, because even they were too long. So Edelbrock should have made those holes go all the way through like the factory head. Not a big deal. It is just a little obstacle. When I started with these, because I put these in first because they're the only bolts going straight up and down. to help me line the intake up. And when I put them in, I started tightening them down. I noticed they bottomed out. I'm like, what? I didn't notice these were blind holes before I put the bolts in. And so I thought that was kind of weird. Then I pulled one of the bolts out once I got the intake set down. And that's when I found out it was a blind hole. So just keep that in mind, that on these heads, these two, you were gonna need shorter bolts on this side, and technically on this side, but if you double up your washers, then you'll be fine. And then on this one, obviously you're gonna need a much shorter. Like them ARP bolts are probably about that much too long. So drastically different on this side. But everything else looked fine. So I'll just come back with some black paint and a brush and paint the tops of these black, so then they will look, you know, like ARP bolts kind of. Obviously the heads are bigger, but they will at least look like they belong there instead of just standing out like that. And then that'll be a done deal. But other than that, that's really the only gripe I have that went with the intake stall. Everything else went great. RTV and these gaskets to the head worked perfect. They did not move. They stayed in place, and they look great. And the good thing is we have just a little bit of squeeze out, so you can see how that, you see how fine of a line we use. As I say, you don't want much on there. A very, very thin, fine line around each port, and you still have squeeze out. Now, not much, but you do have some. And of course, it's going to be up here. There shouldn't be none inside the ports. I put the line, if you notice, I always kind of put it up more toward the top of the port to try to keep it from going inside the port. So that's why you see it up here. But so like that on both sides. But yeah, that is an intake install, and it turned out great. And another thing is the Clevo King, he said to torque the two middle bolts on each side to 25 foot-pounds, and he torques the outside ones to 33. Honestly, I have never used a torque wrench installing an intake. I always do it by feel, and I've never had one leak. The only time I ever use a torque wrench to put an intake on is if I use the metal pan gasket, and that's because it's a metal-to-metal contact. So I used a torque wrench for that. But for these composite gaskets, these fiber gaskets, I always just tighten them by hand. I'll keep going back and forth in the pattern that you're supposed to. And on the intake, well, pretty much any intake, but on these, I always do a crisscross, an X pattern. So like this one, then this back one, then I'll come back to this one, and then go to that one, and then come like over here to this one. And then at that point, you can either go to this one and cross over, or you can go from here to here and cross over. But you always want to do like an X pattern going back and forth. And I do that by hand over and over. I'll go over it several times until they feel tight to me. But if you want to use a torque wrench, like I said, I mean, he said he used one, like I said, 25 on them, 33 in the middle, or on the outsides is what he says. So you can do that. I didn't. I did it by feel. I've always had success tightening the intakes down like that, but that's me. So yeah, that is a done deal. It looks great, and now we are another step closer to getting this thing installed, and it is looking beautiful. Alrighty guys, well that's all there is for this video. I just wanted to share that and show that and talk about it. I hate that the battery died, because I really wanted to show the difference in those bolts and everything last night, and show the depth of the hole and all that, so you know what you're working with. But I couldn't wait. I had to go and get this thing torqued down and all that. I couldn't wait for the battery to charge up. So, but like I said, just be mindful of that with those bolts. But other than that, everything turned out great. ARP bolts are great. And yeah, and if the other two bolts had worked out from ARP, the good thing about them is they're all the same size. You know, on a stock Cleveland, they're different size heads. On the stock bolts, the four middle bolts are smaller size socket than the outside bolts. With ARP, they're all the same size, so that would be a convenience of it. But because of those other two bolts being too long, I still had to use two different size sockets. Not a big deal, but you know, it is what it is. So, but I'm glad to have that done. Looks great, and I can't wait to get this thing installed. We're getting really close now. It's getting exciting. So that's all there is for this one. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. You can now become a member, and link is in the description. And any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the drop box down below. And that's all there is for this one. So until next time, I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care.